Well, thank you so much for joining me, Dr. DG. I appreciate you. And I'm so sorry for the troubles. Just give me a minute. I have to cross-check from YouTube to be sure that our sound is clear because recently, anytime I go live, I usually have sound issue. And it's like my village people in River State that are coming after me. I have to be sure that this time around, they didn't follow me to this life I'm having with you right now. So I need to cross-check. I need to cross-check that we're indeed live and that our audio is visible and people can hear us very well. All right. So, Dr. Digi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me. And once again, most sincere apologies for putting you up to this. And I mean, arresting you and taking you off your comfort zone. What you're doing is a sacrifice, and I don't take it lightly. I appreciate you big time. Thank you so much, Dr. Digi. Thank you. Meanwhile, my people miss you a lot. My crowd have been asking of you. They have been asking me that where did you keep Dr. Digi? Where is he? Where is he? I told them I was going to bring you today. So I hope I fulfilled that mission. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Deji, for joining us. So we're live, the audio is okay, and everything is fine. So we want to be touching on a couple of things. Just today, we heard that the police in Ogun State intercepted about 20 youths, of course, of northern extraction, dressed in a certain way, in a truck with an unnamed destination. Like they didn't even state that, oh, this is where we're going to, or this is what our movement is about. Unnamed destination from Ogun, from within Oyo and Ogun State, and it's a lot of problem. Now, the reason why this is a problem is because just recently, one of my guests shared with me how a friend of his was kidnapped for days. The person was kept saying a Shagamu. The person said, "He waiting the people then we kidnap and carry them do." And meanwhile, the boys feeling youths, young boys then wait between age 13 and 18. They never even big pass like that. Say anybody will waste their time because the person no feel waka well, they go waste the person, move on. So I thought that they are appropriate for us to bring this one, make we even talk about them and where we don't they head to in our country with this thing where they happen like this and how the thing take be. Well, we'll touch on that. We'll also touch on the fact that Benue State is complaining that they've, over 1,000 people have died recently, over 200 houses burned because of the activities of this armed Fulani people then. We'll also touch on other issues, especially delving into politics. We'll go look at the case we get to do with Gambarian and how it be say your House of Rep Deputy Speaker don't carry and go court. Slam am over about 3 trillion naira for head, make it come proof to Ram say he collect bribe for in hand. And Tambowa is also very angry. In fact, Tambowa talk say anybody will go back to APC again. Say the person gets something for head. Say something they worry am. If you look finish for all political parties then for inside Nigeria, the only party we go fit go back to na APC. Then be say, it be like say, Uriye, something they happen inside your head and something like your village people they pursue you. So Dr. Deji, I hope you're ready for us to jumping on these and other conversations. Okay, so let's begin with this issue of this armed Fulani young men. What is the implication of this in our forest in the south? Remember that before now, the activity is mostly now for their parts of town. But right now, it be like say it don't spread. And most of the people then wouldn't kidnap in recent times, we hear say most of the kidnaps, they complain, say people where they kidnap them, now arms headmen. And just like I shared an experience of a friend to you, that means it looks like really this is true. Now, if young men of a particular extraction would jump into the truck, today, Sunday night, and catch them, what's in this thing mean? And get into Ogun State without a clear destination where did the waka go at all. Waiting it mean for us, waiting be the danger where they are ahead or non-danger where they are ahead.
Well, thanks for having me. The signals that it portends first is that if you look at the geographical terrain of Nigeria, and you now try to look at it in terms of wealth, as in where the wealth of Nigeria truly is, it's not about city. Nigeria has so many cities. In states, the capitals are usually city, but you look at it at where are the opportunities? Where is it possible for you to make money? And where is it possible for you to live and survive? Where is the place that you cannot easily hear bomb blast and all that? So you see that when people are not comfortable, they can either choose like external migration across the border, or they choose local migration. And local migration always happens where the milk and honey is, in quote. They usually migrate to where the wealth is, where the prosperity is. And if you look at Nigeria's statistics and the FCT, if you look at it well, the wealth is largely concentrated in Lagos and some few states, maybe River State in terms of their oil, and just some few states. So you see that there's the wealth in Nigeria is not circulating as it ought to be. So where the wealth is, the place that people have choose to assemble. For instance, now Lagos State, you get every tribe in Nigeria in Lagos State, no matter the tribe, even the tribe in Nigeria that they are no more than, let's say, 50,000, you get one of their
In Lagos State.
representatives in Lagos State. So what that tells us is that we will continue to suffer for it if we don't create new cities, if we don't spread the prosperity, if the wealth is still situated in Lagos and its environment. Definitely people will keep migrating from the north to the west. People will keep migrating from Niger, from Benin Republic down to the same Lagos and its border communities, because that is where they believe that they can make it, they believe that they can succeed and prosper. When I was still a little boy, people usually migrate from all these Ogun State, or your state, or Osun State, that they will migrate from the villages there to Lagos. But now you can see that people are migrating from the far north. And the migration also points out to one thing, which is very important, which is that, one, it shows that the military is working to some extent, because the migration might not be as a result of economic survival. It may be as a result of staying alive. Alive in the sense of not being hit by the bullet of the military and all that. So if you are in the north and you are a Boko Haramist, you are a bandit, you are an herdsman and all that, definitely you want to escape southward, because there is no major military operation in the southwest, particularly the southwest. If you are thinking about the Niger Delta, that is the south, you may be thinking that, okay, all these bandits, and you may be thinking, there's so much gun in that area, or all these militants and all that. If you are thinking about the southeast, you may be thinking about the agitation of Nnamdi Kanu and the likely hostility that you might meet as a northerner in the southeast. Then if you want to look at the southwest, you would think that, okay, the southwest, there's no military operation, there's no likeliness for hostility. Then you'll be like, okay, southwest is the destination of choice. So it may be as a result of the military operations in the north, because like you said, most of these people are now from the north. So it may be as a result of the military operation that the military is indeed working, and some of these bandits, some of these herdsmen are finding their way to the south. But then there is a problem in the sense that when they find their way to the south, if they are a Nigerian, it is the right of any Nigerian to live anywhere they so please. I may wake up tomorrow and say, where I want to live now is Maiduguri. Nobody can question me. You can wake up tomorrow and say, where I want to live now is Edo State. Nobody can question you. So far as you are a Nigerian, you can wake up and say, you want to go and live in the southeast, one village there. So far you are a Nigerian. There's nobody that can question you. But then the problem is that when these people, when they have a comfortable zone, they are running from death. They have successfully run away from death, and they are now in the southwest. When they find that pleasure, when they are at ease, because some of these issues, because they are ideological based, they begin to form cells. And you would recall that recently the DSS carried out an operation in, I think, is it Osun or Ondo? Is one of the two, Osun or Ondo, that there were sleeper cells of ISWAP and Boko Haram elements in, I can't remember now, but I'm sure it's Osun or Ondo State. Now, these people migrated from the north, and they are beginning to do all these, Sobata, all these shoemaker, all these things, with the community not knowing that there is already a sleeper cell of Boko Haram, if not for the good work of the DSS, that they were able to do rigorous intelligence work and bust those cells and tame those guys. Definitely by the time they would go out of proportion, it would be a serious problem for Nigeria. So what I can say is that we should first begin to have a development that I can say circulates a development that you can truly have and say, oh, yes, we have development, but this one that in Nigeria, if you want to prosper and succeed, you must first of all come to Lagos. I'm not saying they are not succeeding in other states. I'm not saying they are not prospering in other states, but if you compare it to Lagos, the difference is clear. Even Kano State, as big as it is, some people in Kano, they still find their way to Lagos. So this situation whereby you have 36 states and everybody wants to come to a particular state. No, what government can do is to begin to change some of these things that are making people to come to Lagos, put it in other states. Do you know that as big as Lagos is, even Ogun State is not having that developmental strides like that of Lagos, because the government of Ogun State have failed to create what we call new cities. So for me, I think if we don't create new cities, if we don't spread the prosperity, and one of the things that can make that prosperity spread is if we develop, every state is in control of their resources. I'm looking for mineral resources now. Let's say a state that has lithium, for instance. If the lithium is being extracted in those states and the state is in charge, you can see that the wealth will spread across that state. But a situation whereby federal government is in control of the police, is in control of the army, is in control of all the resources, any resources that is more than 6 feet below the ground, it belongs to the federal government. But if it is 6 feet, the federal government is very wide. You know that thing under 6 feet can be the corpse of our late great grandfather. You'll say, no, that one is for us. But if it is below 6 feet, it belongs to the federal government. So we need to begin to look at these things. If we are not careful, if the prosperity is still within Lagos, then they definitely, people will keep coming to Lagos, both the good people, the bad people, the ugly people, they will keep coming. And at the end of the day, well, I pray that God let the police and the DSS to always succeed. But how far and how long can we always be lucky?
Okay. All right, so Dr. Deji, you know why this is a bit very difficult and a bit dicey now? Because of, say, most of these people way be say they see. If you look at the kidnapping situations for most part of the South, whether South or Southwest, most of the kidnapping cases and these issues, they linked to some sort of people from the northern extraction of the country. And that is why people worry a lot, because this is the same thing that is driving them away from their part of town. And they're coming to do this same thing here again. Is it that this has become an industry in Nigeria that is spreading? That's on the one hand. On the other hand, make we also look at the way business security they use attend to them. Do you think that our security needs to even do more? Because it will say they handle them well. Maybe for no spread in the first place. Over 5,000 Boko Haram, for instance, so far. Now they don't give amnesty. And they use our own resources to use the to reintegrate them back to the society. So is that a good way to use attend to people where we say don't do bad thing? People that have killed, maimed. As I speak to you, we'll soon go to the Benue State issue. We know how far Benue State has suffered with issues like this of kidnapping, where tons of people in a particular community have died. The other time we read that over 5,000 people in a particular community died from attacks of these armed headsmen. Again, how do they know how to handle guns? There was a video making the round in Hausa language of a young man who was explaining how they take them to the bushes and teach them how to shoot. Because you don't just randomly use AK-47. Somehow you learn it. So who are the people responsible of teaching them how to use these arms and ammunition? And how come they carry these same actions, enter inside the Western forest? These are issues that we don't have answers to. And that's why it becomes a problem.
Well, the first thing that I can say is that, sincerely, if Nigeria is a safe country, that there's no banditry, there's no Islamist fundamentalists, won't you be surprised? To start with, if Nigeria is safe, no, let's be real here. If Nigeria is safe, like, there's no banditry, there's no S-men, there's no ISWAP, there's no kidnapping, wouldn't you have been surprised? Because it goes against all elementary security elements that Nigeria will be the way it is and the country will be secured. Let us be sincere with ourselves. If you look at it, there is high unemployment rate, high inflation rate, like most things seems not to be working. Before, I'm sure maybe NYC will still pass out graduate now. There's no job. Before you dream of collecting jam form, and you are an old graduate, very old graduate. You are not new graduate. Now, before you
And I no go
graduate,
school.
before you
Doctor,
graduate,
they no go school.
no, before you graduate in 1830 or so,
Yes, when I preach in English at this week, I no go school.
you know that before you graduated, NYC have been,
Mm.
dishing out graduates without job. And till today,
Mm-hmm.
they still graduate without job. People that are receiving, was it 30,000 or so? Some of them, despite the passage of the minimum wage bill to 70,000, they are still receiving the less than 30,000 naira. To make the law effective on all and sundry has been quite impossible in the true sense of it. People pay people whatever they determine, whatever they think is right to pay them, not because they are afraid of any minimum wage law or anything, unlike the Western countries. So if you look at this, if somebody that is even receiving the 70,000 naira, when the minimum wage was passed, the inflation rate at that time, the cost of goods and services. Now look at the people that are unemployed, the educated youth, the people that are just should I say mid-educated, and the people that are uneducated. Now life is difficult for almost everybody across board. In that kind of situation, what do you think will happen? Of course, have you ever heard that people are dying on the streets? Have you ever heard that, oh, that person, he died yesterday. What happened? What's just going on the street? And he just collapsed and died. Have you ever heard of it? And at night, breaking news. Somebody was walking on the street of Benue, collapsed, died. Another person on Delta State, collapsed, died. Another person on Ondo State. You don't hear of that. You want to now ask yourself, how is these people, how are they surviving, despite the fact that the economic realities, the economic indices,
Doctor, the people they die. I'm surprised say you never notice say people they die.
most times
people they die.
most times
People they slump for road now they die. It's just that it's underreported. I hope you understand.
most times people die as a result of insecurity, right? If you look at
Doctor, the people are dying of hunger now.
People are dying of hunger
People
now.
are dying of lack and hunger right now.
Okay, well, maybe it doesn't make it to the news. That is why, because I've not heard the headline, or maybe I'm listening to the news now. Yeah, okay, so person was walking on the street and that person just collapsed and died. So
did you hear it? For instance, did you hear it in the news that Boko Haram attacked a military base last Sunday and killed a couple of military personnel? I guess they talk. You know, go hear them. So there are many things that are underreported, and this may be one of them.
The one of Boko
you
Haram,
know, say your government don't come out now, can't tell us say life don't improve for people now. Life don't come out. Life don't improve for people now for the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Sunday diary your brother. Doctor, did you Sunday diary now your brother?
I don't know, Amo.
It talks say life don't get better for Nigerians now. But meanwhile, NBS, National Bureau of Statistics, with their statistics when they get, show say things are even worse for Nigerians. How come Sunday diary go talk say things don't get better, things are getting cheaper? But
you see the ignorance of when there's a problem with governance in Nigeria. You see, before you are in government in Nigeria, it will be as if you are a reasonable person, you they talk sense, your ways they make sense, you are just like you are speaking sense. For instance, now Shehu Sani has joined APC. Now before he joined APC, he's always making sense. You know Shehu Sani is always making sense. That's
but recently, we never make sense too much
no,
it's
gradually. You will just see now. It will just stop all of a sudden. Stop making sense, and you'll be wondering that I thought this bros used to be a brilliant guy. What's happening? Like
so he's about to be a Danebwala.
I can give you 50 examples. Like they will just be making sense, but all of a sudden they'll just stop making sense. So if you look at it in that kind of situation, what do you want people to do? People have to survive. People have to eat. When you are at the point of death and you see that this is death, and the next option for you is that nadeji bread be that, you would rather risk taking that bread than to die, despite the fact that you may not have anything.
So that's called
you may not have food, you may not have any money in your account, but to die is still a problem. So rather than for you to die, you think, let me pick Deji's bread that maybe I can still survive with it. So you either go to church to go and be praying and fasting that manna should fall from heaven, or you want to pick Deji's bread and say, let me use this bread to survive. In that kind of situation, there cannot be peace in the society. Let us be sincere with ourselves. So if you think that, oh, there will be peace, we are just deceiving ourselves. There really cannot be real peace in the true sense of it. See, almost everybody in Nigeria are angry one way or the other. And let me go across the cadre. For instance, if you are, let's say, a bank manager, and you are living large, maybe you take your family on holiday once or twice a year, I can bet you that since Precious boyfriend Bola Ahmed Tinubu, by the way, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not Precious boyfriend though,
Your brother.
because there are some media people, because you
Go.
media, some of your media people can be watching you now. You just make it to the
Next thing,
headline
not report
tomorrow.
them. Now,
Bola Ahmed
you have
Tinubu's
a case to answer
girlfriend,
with DSS.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu's girlfriend reviewed. So the thing is that if you look at it, most people cannot live the life they used to live before. I can bet it that no matter who you are, except if you are old money. You know what they call old money? That the money was passed to you from your grandfather. It was passed from your grandfather to your father, or great grandfather to your grandfather. Old money. You may not feel it. But if you are new money, that as they say on the street, new taker, or you are the one that is staying afloat in your family, everybody is depending on you, there's no way you will not feel it. Those kind of people who we usually call the elite are feeling it. Now, if you look at the people that we used to call middle class, do you know that middle class doesn't exist anymore? Do you know? In the sense that, for instance, some time ago, there are some people that they belong to the middle class, but they can still afford to travel abroad. They can still afford to even send their children to school abroad. That, okay, masters, 1 year they have. They'll look at their account balance. They'll look at the money they're expecting. They'll be like, God go do it. Oh yeah, go. Those were when dollars was maybe 100 naira, 200 naira. But now, dollar is maybe 1.6 or something. Those kind of people have been cut off. If you
So
want to
Dr.
go,
Deji, just to be clear, say be Yoruba man, and not vex, now your brother dey power. So I just want to know, and your brother Sunday Diary don't come and talk, say things don't they get better, because if you go to markets for Kano State and all that, say things they get
let
better.
me
But even though
let
MBS
me
say, oh,
respond
now
to that.
I want to
I
know,
saw a
do you
picture.
do
I
you
saw
think
a
that
picture
prices of things
yesterday.
are coming down? I'd like to hear from you. Do you think that prices of things are coming down from your part of town where you are?
Let me even, I saw the picture yesterday, and I'm trying to bring it out on my other device. You see, there's a problem with the people in the government of Bola
I
Ahmed
can
Tinubu.
graciously send it to you.
No, I even have it there. I have one there. There's a problem with the people that are in the government of Bola, and I'm saying it in the public domain. Again, there's a problem with the handlers of the president. You see, the man already has his own package, but they will do something that they will bring more baggage and more embarrassment to the man. In the sense that when you were coming into government on May 29, 2023, the price of goods and services were on the low. You met dollar at about 600 naira or thereabout. Now it's about 1,600. If naira is losing its value, you keep quiet. But if naira have small gain, tiny gain, they will come out, they will start singing and dancing. And I'll be like, what kind of, sorry, I don't want to use the, I'm so
Don't worry,
I'm
now
so
YouTube
sorry.
we did. Don't worry, we're
Some
not
of
there
them
on air.
behave like, you you'll be like, what kind of a rich man with a non-entity brain is this? In the sense that, how can the price of good, for instance, if you are buying a pint of Gary, see, ancestrally, Nigerians have not been rich people. When I say Nigerians, I'm talking of the large population of Nigerians. Nigerians ancestrally have, been struggling to survive. It is only the few that are rich. So you cannot call Nigerians rich people, but Nigeria is a rich country. That's another talk for another day. Now, these people that they are struggling to survive, if the pint of Gary before is maybe 300 naira, and now people are buying it for, I don't know the price, maybe you can help me, but I'm sure that the price will be one, humongous price. Now, let me use bread, for instance. If bread before Tinubu era
Mhm.
is 450, 500 naira, now bread is like 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, depending on the brand. And if the price of bread now drop to 1.5, they will come out, they will start singing, they will start dancing, they will start rejoicing, and you'll be like, what kind of people is this? what kind of people is it? Except people just decide to keep quiet. Sometimes it's always painful that we know these things. It is sometimes I would just like to keep quiet for the sake of keeping quiet. That let me just keep quiet. But sometimes the way these people do these things, you even find it difficult to even keep quiet because they will roll out the drums, they will start singing and dancing. Alaye, have you forgotten that you met this thing at 500 naira? Now, do you know the prayers of Nigerians? Do you know the prayers of Nigerians? The best Bola Ahmed Tinubu can do for Nigeria right now, the best thing in the whole wide world I can do for Nigeria is, by the time you leave as president of Nigeria, maybe it's 2027, maybe it's 2031, when you are leaving, just take them back.
But we're not free to say God forbid.
I'm coming.
We're not free to say God forbid.
Just take them back to where Buhari left it for you. The price of fuel, the price of goods and services, just take them back there. You would have been a performer. That's the best that.
But even Buhari would think saying a disaster. If you carry us region, ain't gonna be perform now.
Don't improve it. Don't improve on it. Just take them back there.
Just leave it where Buhari dropped.
Precious, won't you sing and dance now?
Sir?
If you can buy fuel for about 200 naira, won't you be happy? Let's be real. Instead of the 9-something, 1,000,
wow.
won't you be happy?
Even wine.
Won't you be happy?
I go buy land for planets, for another planet.
This is where the problem is. You see, I wish that if I have access to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is either he will like me or he will just ask them to go and kill me. If I have access to him, because I will tell him, Baba, you are a problem. And the source of your problem is you. You are just the problem of yourself. And the reason why that is the case is that all this problem now, Buhari caused majority of all this problem. They set this time bomb, all these loopholes, they set it for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But he has not said anything. He has been trying to be politically correct. He has not done the needful to probe these guys. And now, some of these guys that were part of the rooms, they are now the one even giving him problem. So who are we to blame? Is it the Buhari boys? Is it Buhari? Or you yourself that you are the president? So for me, when the price of goods and services drop a little bit, when the price of the dollar drops a little bit, and the Tinubu boys decide to sing and dance, they should just always be fair to themselves. They should be realistic to themselves. They should think that if they are in the opposition, what would they be saying? Because we are in this together when they frustrated the life out of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Now they are in power. They know how it is. But you see, politics is not a fair game. Politics is never a fair game. Politics can never be a fair game. If politics is a fair game, definitely some of these politicians will have the fear of God. Some of these politicians will act with the fear of God in mind. But what do we have? You see that expect more cross-carpeting. APC is the juicy party now. APC is where the milk and honey is. So you see that people will keep going there regardless of whether Bola Ahmed Tinubu perform or not.
Ned Woko cross-carpeted. So many of them don't they go.
Only you see, more is still coming. By the time 2027 will come, maybe by then PDP would have been empty because people go into politics in Nigeria either as a means of survival, either as a source of employment, or generally for what to gain. Nobody, or should I say majority, are not going into politics because of what they can offer the system. Everybody wants to go and tap from the system. So if you
how long do we keep tapping from this system? Will the system not run dry one day? That's the problem.
No, it's already drying, and you see that they have been tapping from the system, but the poverty did not increase. Now the system is drying up. That's why the poverty is increasing, and there's no limit to how people can be impoverished. You think people are impoverished now? Go to some African countries, you still see raw chronic poverty. Some of our people are not as poor like this before. Now they are getting poorer. They will still get poorer because so long as government exists, just only for the interest of the few, definitely all this kind of thing will keep happening. But the person that we lose most in all of this is still Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So, for instance, if I am Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there's a stage you get to in life that you think that what's remaining? What is really remaining? There's nothing remaining again. In the history of Nigeria, when you get to 2023, from May, you must mention the name Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whether you like him, whether you hate him. The highest office in the land is that of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's the highest office in the land. So if I'm Bola
And he
Ahmed
has
Tinubu,
occupied it.
I will go all out to make that real impact, not propaganda impact, too. Real impact, real impact on the life of the people. But then all this political correctness. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he needs to always fast and pray. Because if you look at it, he is suffering the pain of political correctness. The Northerners that fueled Buhari's government are now rooting against him. Still, he's keeping quiet. He himself, he has this identity baggage. He's carrying that one. So if you look at it, problem everywhere. And now the people around him are still creating problem for him because Adeleke, the one you interviewed, has granted a press conference that
Oh yes.
Oyetola
Oh
is
yes.
giving
He
him
said his
problem.
brother Oyetola
Oyetola is giving him problem.
wants to cause for
So you
hala
can
in
see
home.
that
Yes,
yes,
that's what Adeleke said.
the people that
And
Bola
that's a
Ahmed
serious
Tinubu
problem. That's a serious accusation. And they say he's doing that because he's clamoring that he's the president's nephew, so he can do anything. Even though some people they talk say, how your nephew go from Osun State, you from Lagos State. Now matter for another day, be that one. We'll
well,
talk
the
about it
thing is
later.
that are you
Hmm.
surprised that Adeleke cannot give order?
You are about adjusting. You can help me adjust to your left a bit more.
Me, I'm not surprised at all. For me,
Thank
as
you.
far as I'm concerned,
Hmm.
it is the reality of Nigeria. But then Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be thinking of how to save himself from problem. But rather than save himself from problem, he's just digging neck into problem, digging neck into. And if God have always saved you, the thing is that God can do all things, but God will not do everything. So he himself is not really helping himself. A man that is already in an ocean of different problems, left, right, back, and forth. If you look at it, let's be realistic with ourselves. We still have the drug issue, we have the certificate issue, we have the what do they call it? It's an active asset to the CIA agent, something like that. We have
CIA aspect
the state of
issue.
origin issue, which you just mentioned now. We have the identity issue, different kind of issues.
We still have the graduating from a secondary school that
So yes, all
was
these yes,
inaugurated or established before after your
all
graduation.
these issues. Okay, you people now help this man, help him to succeed. Let there be peace. No, one greedy nephew, we want to lord himself in Osun State when there is a sitting. So you can see that it's so sad that the man, he doesn't like the people that have, if they ask me that what is the problem Bola Ahmed Tinubu have, I will tell him that you may think Peter Obi or one Atiku Abubakar is a problem. No, just look around you. You'll find your problems there. If you can look around you very well, you'll find for instance.
So that means the problem of Bola Ahmed Tinubu within himself, around them.
For instance, you are supposed to carry out an investigation. This Binance something is one of the topics you sent to me. You are supposed to carry out an investigation. And while carrying out the investigation, it is shameful that at the end of the day, you now be hearing somebody asked me for $150 million.
Dollars.
My dear sister, do you know what $150 million is? I press calculator.
No convert to naira.
My calculator won't knock, but the Holy Spirit wait there inside and I resist and say, no, you no go knock. 232 billion naira.
That is what three House of Rep members, including the chairman of anti-corruption committee. That is one of them is a chairman of anti-corruption committee in the House of Representatives. Follow for people where they demand for this money.
I pity Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I really pity him because with 232 billion naira, that money is enough for you to destabilize. I don't want to say Nigeria. It's enough for you to destabilize like a region in Nigeria. If you have 232 billion naira, 232 billion, you can hold the whole southwest or southeast to ransom with that kind of money and just be behaving the way you like. So if this money has been paid and it has fallen into the hands of like 5 people, you know what it means. And we may want to think that, okay, maybe they didn't ask for bribe, right? That, okay, maybe these people are innocent. They didn't ask for bribe, but we must also remember that we are Nigerians. We know ourselves. Let's be realistic. We know what we can do. But why is the guy not mentioning Precious? Why is that Tigre Grambayan not saying, oh, Precious asked me for so money? The guy made the allegation, he made specific ad references. He mentioned the day. I don't know how the guy did remember the day. He mentioned the day.
So are you trying to say that this lawsuit now where be so that deputy speaker don't slam for your head, no go get, you know, go anywhere?
Say that again. Oh, what kind of suit?
You they try talk, say this lawsuit on a deputy speaker don't slam him na bobo
Go
juice.
No, how do you even want to serve the guy in the first place? Will you serve it on local media or foreign media?
He
Will
say,
the guy come to
say
Nigeria?
US go bring
Will the guy
come. US go bring make.
Say that again.
He say no, say US go bring the man
US.
come back, making.
Oh God. I don't know what kind of people do we have in our House of Representatives. US
Sir?
of all people, not Togo, not Benin Republic. US will release Tigran Gambrian for you to come and answer charges in your law court. Come on, let's be realistic with ourselves. Let us be real for once. And see, that guy, that's Tigran Gambrian. If we have a government that really wants to fight corruption and people in government, move close to the guy and they give him fair hearing, that guy will make more revelation. And do you know where the problem is?
Mm-mm.
And when they said this Nadim and Jawala, that's the second guy that was
yes, the one way run escape from our country, inside our country. Escape for inside our country. Person where they in custody.
One person escaped. So and where I have a problem now with some of the people in high authority is that I hope that they are not doing this to all these Chinese guys that they are parading on the media that you see in the news every day that, cryptocurrency fraud, this fraud, that fraud. I hope that they are not doing what Tigran Gambrian alleged to some of these guys as well, in such a way that they are not asking them for money that, don't worry, we'll resolve the case, we'll settle the case and all that. And let us look at something that is very important on this Binance issue, in the sense that on the overall, what it means is that, let's assume that Tigran Gambrian and the US firm Binance committed any economic infraction. It means that you are willing to collect the money to sabotage the peace of mind, the comfort of the Nigerian people. And that's where it gets bad.
Okay.
That's where it gets bad. That
yes,
if you have collected the money, that means that you have successfully sabotaged the interest of the Nigerian people just because you want something for yourself. And that's why there should be rigorous investigation into all of this. But do you know where the problem is?
No, please.
I read a few moments ago that the federal government, I think the Minister of Information or something, issued a statement that Nigerians should ignore this Tigran Gambrian of Binance. On what ground are you asking Nigerians to ignore the guy? Have you conducted an investigation within 2-3 days and you're able to reach a conclusion that this guy allegation is false? On what particular ground are you saying that Nigerians should ignore the guy? So you see that the people in government, like it's more like a paddy kind of thing. If not, they could have just taken steps to look at it that, okay, let us even investigate what this guy has said. He has mentioned the DSS, he has mentioned the National Security Advisor, he has mentioned 3 members of the House of Representatives, he has given date and time and location. He even mentioned something as regards the escape of his second, Najim and Jawala. He mentioned something as regards his escape that they said the guy escaped during prayer. That it was a lie. The guy came back, and the guy came back after prayer and now, escape. But he has not been able to speak to the guy to get the details of the escape. I disagree with the guy on that. In fairness to our people at the home front, in the sense that the guy, he said they've only exchanged email. If you pass through fire in Nigeria and you now escape back to the US, definitely you would have spoken to your guy. You guys would have rubbed minds. That's the truth. So for you to now say you have not spoken to Najim and Jawala, that's a lie. Now, in fairness to our compatriots back home in Nigeria, which is that Nigerian government is investigating you for $35 million. That's what Nigerian government is investigating you for. That financial infraction amounting to $35 million. Now, you are now coming to say that Nigerian politicians and people in high command, they are asking you for $150 million. Now, if you do the arithmetic, how can you be investigating somebody? They know they're investigating you for $35 million. Then they will now be asking you for $150 million. How does that equate? How does that balance? Except if they are basing it on the total transaction that Binance have conducted in Nigeria, which amounts to $26 billion. 26 billion.
No, but that 26 billion US dollars. If you even heard what the guy said, he's saying that that's not any transaction that has happened in Nigeria. He talks, it doesn't like when you put 100 naira now to trade, and you trade cryptocurrency, and that 100 naira, maybe you make $100 profit daily for the 100 naira, for the $100, and then at the end of 1 month, that $100 becomes $1,000. These are all the things they, based on the level of transaction you run daily. It's not like these are transactions that actually left them. But I don't want us to dwell on that too much. I would have loved for us to go to Benue State, where this issue has happened in Benue State, because this is not the first time a particular community in Benue State has come out to explain how many people we don't die because of the activities of armed Fulani headsmen. And why this is very troubling? Now, because if they like say we still find them very difficult to attack the issue heads on, or to talk about the matter. So a particular group named the Coalition of Sankera Elites, a group in Benue State, they lament the spate of attacks and killings in the Sankera axis of the state, comprising Katsina-Ala, Ukum, and local government areas. As they talk, they say 2,000 villages for Sankera don't they sack. That is, people are not living in those villages. 2,000 villages have been sacked. Dr. Deji, I don't know whether you understand me. 2,000 villages, that is people were supposed to their ancestral homes for over 2,000 villages. No, their villages. And over 1,000 persons don't they killed. And properties worth billions and trillions of naira don't they destroyed. Why? Because of the activities of Fulani and Fulani headsmen. Where don't they get clashes with them? Remember that government will call it headers farmers clashes. But is it really headers farmers clashes when the headers then carry gun? Assault rifles, because AK-47 is an assault rifle, and these farmers not hold anything, maybe just their cutlass and hoes, nine they hold. So do you call it a clash when the other people, they're more weaponized than the others? This has become a lot of trouble, and I wait to make a for like to talk about them, especially recently. Northern youths just come out and talk, say some coalition of northern people come out and talk, say anybody will support make the release Nnamdi Kanu, say the person a terrorist, because Nnamdi Kanu a person will be say they don't prescribe. But the activities of these armed headsmen not vex. What's the definition of terrorism again? Is it not enough for us to prescribe a section of these people, what do they call terrorists? Because of all this, what do they call headsmen? Because of all these activities where the bad ones among them, they do. And why has it been difficult for government to deal with their issue heads on? And why is it so easy to hold somebody like Nnamdi Kanu, for instance, or kidnaps or hold somebody tomorrow, call him, name him IPOB? But they no fit attend to these issues heads on, especially as they know they spread to other regions for inside the country.
Okay, I'm thinking of where to start, because this has touched on Nnamdi Kanu.
You can start at the beginning, but just before you start, let me let people joining us live to know that they can subscribe to this platform. If this is your first time here, I beg, just click on the subscription button, follow us like your village people. Go ahead, Dr. Deji.
Okay, I'm really thinking of where to start, because a lot of issues join together. Let me start from Benue State before I come to Nnamdi Kanu. I know a lot of people want to hear about Nnamdi Kanu, so stay tuned. Let me start from Benue State. You see, I really pity the people of Benue State.
Benue State.
That, those people have faced a lot of inhumane activities. By the way, one of my brothers did his NYSC in Benue State many years ago, and when he comes back from his NYSC, he would say, "Oh, that this Lagos." That's the way he used to say that this Lagos, Lagos people, they are too wicked. All these things that they are selling, they are just scamming people everywhere. That if you go to Benue, they can even give you basket of orange free. Maybe it is even 5 naira that you will give them, and they will give you.
Yes. Pussy.
Yes, and they will say that, and they will give you one full basket of orange and all that. So Benue was being called the food basket of the nation. It is not a mistake that they named Benue the food basket of the nation. And when Buhari got there, this is where things went out of hand. There's a way they've been managing this thing, although it has been more of injustice to the farmer. And the reason why this is the case is that if you look at farmer elders clashes, now a farmer can survive without the elder. The elder cannot survive without the farmer. In the
Why?
sense that,
Why the
let us
elder
use
not go fit survive without the farmer?
yes, this is it. Now, in Nigeria and across the world, you see some people, they call themselves vegetarians. They only eat vegetables, which is that something that grows from the soil.
Yes.
They don't eat anything that has blood like chicken, fish. They say they are vegetarians. And some of them live, particularly if you go to Europe and Southeast Asia, you see some of them, they live as far as like 100 years. They are vegetarians. They survive. They are active like you and I. But can you ever point out to somebody that will say, no, I can only survive on meat alone, chicken alone. I don't want to taste anything that is fruit, anything that is planted in the soil. It's not possible. You cannot survive it. But you can survive without beef. So same for the elders. They must eat. And if you look at these cows and all that, those cows prefer to eat crops. They are not animals like lion now. Lion will prefer to eat goat, which is something of blood. But cow will prefer to eat like cassava, yam, all these things. And lack of planning of the Nigerian government over the decades, these people, rather than for their cow to die, and there's a socio-cultural dimension to it, in the sense that cow is very important to them. Cow is something that they hold in high esteem. Some of them even see cow, I stand to be corrected, more like a child. So if they can't watch their cow to die, and there is no availability by the by government program of what their cow will feed on, then they will have to invade the farm of the farmer so that their cow can survive. But they are failed.
Can I ask a question, Dr. Deji? Just very quickly, please. The cow business, is it a private business or a government-owned business? If it's a private business, I'm coming. If it's a private business, why don't you invest on a ranch? Buy a large piece of land. You understand? Where be say go get grasses where you go to even groom at different seasons where they go to chop. Is it so difficult? If it's a business, a private business, why can't you do that? The Alaba International Electronic person, they find person where go, they bust people shop to sell in spare parts or spell in electronics. You as a businessman, anywhere you go to live, when you lived in the countries you lived where you went to go to school, you didn't tell them that they must give you a house for free. You rented the apartment, didn't you? So why can't we do that?
Ought to be. You are applying some rational thinking here, that how it ought to be. But you fail to realize that it's not everybody that is rational. Some of these people, some of these murderous herdsmen, not all herdsmen are murderous, but some of them, that why should I go and buy land, ranch, plant, when I can easily invade precious farm and feed them, and feed our crops to my cow. See, don't think that the way you are brought up, or maybe the way you apply rational thinking is the way everybody is. No, people reason differently. There are some good elders, sincerely. There are some fantastic elders. There are people that
that's what we mentioned.
Some believe that they have to invade another person's crop, and this has led to a lot of issue back and forth. But government have been acting, although the action is not enough, but government has still been acting. But things get worse, from my own view, when Buhari got there. And why did it get worse? To Muhammadu Buhari, and this is a matter of public knowledge. This is something that is in public domain. Anything that is not pro-North doesn't make sense to Buhari. Anything that is not, if it's not pro-North, Precious has, over 20 years experience as a journalist, she knows how to control the listeners, both on air, on live, recorded, whatever. The Buhari will be looking at you. Where is that Precious from? She's from the Niger Delta River State. There's one Amina from Sokoto. She know they too good, but she go feel learn on the job. Buhari will approve that Amina. That is what we saw when Buhari was. I'm speaking of fact from public domain. People can go and review all the appointment Buhari made. In fact, what am I even saying? And again, that's why I pity Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a problem unto himself. I'm saying it in public domain because even Buhari tried to install a northerner. Am I lying? What I'm saying is it not the fact? Buhari himself tried to install a northerner. When it was time at the dying minute, they've been looking at how to shank Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But that one, stood like the rock of Gibraltar on their neck. They were not able to push him away. No, see, Bola Ahmed Tinubu won that presidency by his own magnanimity, by his own political strategy. He won that presidential election because there's so many people that owes him a debt of gratitude, not because of Buhari. Look at the Naira redesign. I don't want to go into that terrain because I can speak on it from now till next tomorrow. That Buhari did not help Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but the second time of Buhari, Aisha Buhari left Abuja to come and thank Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos. Before a first lady can stand up, bath, enter motor, enter jet, land for your domo just to come and thank you, there's something that you must have done that is extraordinary special. But at the end of the day, he's trying to bring Ahmed Lawan, the former Senate president. So this matter of X-Men, going back in context now, it got worse during Buhari's time because the little, hide and run, hide and seek that the security agents used to play that, okay, they will fire them small, they will retreat small, things got worse under Buhari era. So the 8 years, 8 years is a lot of time for a lot of things to go wrong. So there was a lot of injustice to the Benue people. They didn't allow the security agencies to cooperate on the side of the Benue people during the tenure of Buhari. Now, Tinubu is there. But what has gone on that has favored this expert? You remember the water resources bill? See,
Yes.
a lot of things that people that follow politics and happenings in the polity, the points will begin to come to their head. And at the end of the day, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is there now, but some of these people have gained ground. Some of these people are used to a particular lifestyle, which is to feed on people's crops. And don't forget that in the midst of all this, we still connect us back to Buhari himself. There are some people that, they believe that by virtue of Uthman Danfodio, one jihad from, one old jihad, that every land is the land of Uthman Danfodio, that, is the land of their ancestors and all this, that, there's nowhere they cannot settle in. And to what cattle is to you is what land is to some people. For instance, in your side, in the Niger Delta, land sometimes is seen as a god. It is worshipped. Land is seen as something of prized possession. Sometimes how rich you are depends on the land that you have and how you can bequeath it to your unborn children. So there are some historical perspectives, but if you want to come and take these people's land, they will resist. But some of these herdsmen have been doing this thing over the years, and now Nigeria is having more problem by the day. The hands of the security agencies are tight. So Bola Ahmed Tinubu sincerely cannot do any magic at this point. He can only try his best, and it will take time for his best to begin to manifest as regards Benue State. I mean, and I'm being specific about Benue State now. For his best to try. And another thing is the political dimension in Benue State. When Autumn was, saying, oh, if you rear cow, you'll be fine, something like that, that if you push, like if you transport cow by legs on the street, there was this bill that the Benue State House of Assembly passed then.
Anti-open grazing bill and all that.
When Autumn passed that bill, the Buhari boys made sure that both Autumn and his the person he wants to install lose the state. They made sure that they do, and to now make it interesting, they went to bring a reverend father. You know that one with white collar, all those reverend father something. They went to bring that one, and that one now is the governor of the state. And since then, things have not remained the same because most of those laws are not implemented as they ought to be implemented like before. So if you want to trace the problem of Benue State, where it began to be a major problem is when Buhari got, if you look at it, during Jonathan's side, there's always been this farmer elders, but it didn't, it didn't become a very
So,
big issue like
yeah,
that.
I understand you, but why is it persisting now that we don't have Buhari in power again? And for instance, the amnesty to Boko Haram, and now they don't come give amnesty to bandits now. In fact, they don't open Operation Safe Corridor now for
You-
Southwest because of bandits that may repent. Why is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu following those footsteps of
No, he
President
said it.
Buhari?
He said it during the election. He said he will continue from where Buhari stopped. So if he decide to change his mind a little bit, fine. But then, are you expecting that he will not continue from where Buhari stopped? He will continue from some of the things that Buhari did that are wrong. That is just the truth, because I don't see any reason where you should pardon bandits. You should pardon murderous S-men, Boko Haram terrorists. No. And if I can connect that to Nnamdi Kanu, that's why.
I was going to go there right away. Sorry, I was just going to go there because Nnamdi Kanu has just written a letter through his lawyer to the general public where he did say that he would rather die in detention or under the DSS custody. I don't know if you're with us,
Yeah,
Dr.
I'm with
Deji.
you.
Dr. Deji, are
Loud
you
and
there?
clear. Just a moment.
Yes, okay. So he said that he would rather die in DSS custody than be tried unjustly. Saying no go ever allow himself to be tried unjustly. Make I even see some of the content of that later. He said, these are the major reasons that compelled me to request for the let's see if I can read it. He said on September 24, 2024, I decided that I have had enough of taking my chances at getting justice from a judge that in June 2021 sent me to a secret place detention without fair hearing. Later, refused to transfer me to prison to better prepare for my trial, and kept it all, or rather capped it all by refusing to restore my bail. Instead, she ordered an accelerated trial in the face of the reality that I would never get a fair trial whilst detained at the DSS custody. He said, these are the major reasons that compelled me to request the recusal of the judge. And having consented to it, she proceeded to make an order removing herself from my case. That order has not on appeal. Thus, on this day. So he said, but instead of the judge of the Federal High Court doing the lawful thing by assigning my case to another judge, he connived with the federal government to eat crow and send my case to a judge that stands recused by a valid order. So he say, and because he know say the judge they partial, say she gets interest, say he no go ever fit, let that judge try am. So say until they give him a judge where no get anything at stake, or where they try, say he no go stand for to be tried unjustly. What do you make of that? And again, comparing it to what's going on with the giving amnesty to Boko Haram and bandits and the rest of them. They just established Operation Safe Corridor. That means we'll be giving amnesty to bandits that have killed and maimed people. Lots of them. In fact, what am I talking about? Kaduna State governor negotiated with a few of them lately. And by the way, after negotiation, they still go keep people for some villages. Abi. So how I would like to take a response on those.
Well, first, I am totally against the idea of granting amnesty to people that are killed, maimed, and destroyed. Because if you decide to kill people, invade villages, sever people's head, and at the end of the day, you say you want to be granted amnesty. What kind of amnesty is that? Will it bring the life of the people back? Will it bring the properties back? And if you are granted amnesty, that is double loss on the part of the Nigerian government, in the sense that Nigerian government use money to pursue your cause. While you are creating the insecurity, Nigerian government have lost men, arms, and ammunition. Nigerian government use taxpayers' money to fund the security agencies. Now you were apprehended. You now say, oh, you want to that you should be granted amnesty, that you have now repented. Now, when you repent truly, Nigerian government will now use the taxpayers' money again to transform you in quote.
I mean, when the people where they sack for their villages, see the IDP camp.
That is arrant nonsense. Whereby the people that suffered as a result of your action, Nigerian government have left them to their fate. people that lost arms, people that lost legs, people that lost their breadwinners, people that lost their father, mothers, orphans. Nigerian government has not attended to them. But you that committed the atrocity, they will now be giving you one nonsense amnesty to say, oh, yes, now you are granted amnesty, and they will now use taxpayers' money, the same taxpayers' money, to now be, rebranding you in code. To me, that is absolute nonsense. Because all these, Boko Haramis, banditry, most of them are ideological based. They don't really change in the true sense of change. And the analysis about extremism and ideology is another one for another day. Now, I don't want to debate and go into that. We'll touch on that another day. Now, Nnamdi Kanu, you see, if you want to participate in a judicial process, particularly if you are the accused, now, you must participate in it on the perspective of fairness, knowing well that everything will go fairly, in such a way that when judgment is being given, as the judgment is being read, you yourself will know that, okay, justice was done in this case. But when you don't have confidence in the judicial process, the first chain of command is the judge that is sitting on your case. You cannot determine the judgment that a judge will pass on you. But if you suspect, unreasonable suspicion, that this judge, the way this judge has been conducting herself or himself, there's something unusual about this judge, you can raise an alarm and say that I don't think that I will get justice. It is not a crime to raise such alarm, because at the end of the day, the greatest loser,
It's within
I'm
his
coming back.
rights.
At the end of the day, the greatest loser will be you, the accused. So it is not a crime to raise an alarm that I don't believe I can get justice from this judge. Please give me another judge. And it's not only in the judiciary. Even if you go to the universities across the world, and I say this with sense of authority. If you have a supervisor, if you're a graduate student, whether you are master's, whether you are PhD, if you see that this supervisor, there's something unusual, he doesn't attend to you fine, this supervisor, you don't think you can graduate quick no matter how you work hard, you have the right to write to the school, the graduate school, or you write to the dean of graduate studies that I want a change of supervisor. When the school meets, they will approve it and give you another supervisor. So in this case, it is not a crime, sincerely. And I'm saying this with utmost response. It's not a crime for Nnamdi Kanu to say, I don't want, a lordship, Justice Binta Nyako, for so and so reason. And it is also, so long as the person, the defendant, makes that claim, you as a judge or the judicial process, I'm not a lawyer, but at least I have different lawyers as friends. You cannot say you want to now force yourself on that particular person, or you say, oh, it must be this judge that must handle this case. No, that is not the case. Because you cannot say, oh, it must be Justice Nyako or no. No, the appeal court, again, why is the judiciary making a superstar out of Justice Binta Nyako? In the process of making a superstar out of her, you are ridiculing the woman, because the Nnamdi Kanu says he doesn't want this judge. You cannot say by fire by force it must be just. No, there are other judges at the appeal court. There are different judges, many of them at the appeal court, that you can assign the case to. So in the interest of peace, in the interest of fairness, why not assign the case to another judge? Now, there's something I saw during the court proceedings that it shook me to the bone, in the sense that Nnamdi Kanu was quoting. Nnamdi Kanu has never been a lawyer, to the best of my knowledge. He is not a lawyer, right? And there are some people that they have a case in court, even if you tell them the law from tomorrow, that what we are going to use to defend you is section 88, subsection 2, chapter 2, paragraph, all those things, the person will forget. But this man came to court, was opening books, was challenging.
Prepared like a lawyer.
It
Constitution
is sad.
too.
Sincerely, this is not a laughing matter. It is sad that somebody will come to court and will be telling the judge, will be telling the prosecutor, will be reading that this is your own law. It's not my law. I'm not the one that wrote it. This is your law. The only problem here is obey your law. I felt, it made me feel somehow as a Nigerian. I felt, sincerely, I felt a bit somehow that, like, if somebody is challenging you to obey your own law as a country, a sovereign country, a legitimate, do you know that trial of Nnamdi Kanu, see, the world is a global village now, that whatever happens, people are saying, if an Nnamdi Kanu that is ancestrally Nigeria that the video circulate all the social media and people are watching it all over the world shouting, this is your own law. Obey your law. This is your own law. And nothing significant has been done to debunk that. Do you think that a foreign investor, see, Nigerian government don't know that some of these things, the people in government, they don't know that all these things have economic implications. They don't know that it's not foreign direct investment. You just think that Nnamdi Kanu is just making a nonsense of himself. No.
But your president saying that attracts about $30 billion now for foreign direct investment.
Precious.
You don't believe
that's why I used to call Bola
Dr. Deji, you don't have faith. You don't have faith. Even little as mustard seed.
You see why I call Bola Tinubu your boyfriend now? See, when $30 billion is an economy, you will feel it. You will know. When Glo MTN came, did you not see it? Did you not feel it? But I'm still on this Nnamdi Kanu case. And this man is saying, please obey your law. The people in government, is it that they don't know that this thing that this man is saying has implication on the economy? You don't know. Even if I'm to go further, it has security implications. Because any non-state actor would rather prefer to do the worst that he can do and just die than for him to be apprehended and go and face the law. And are you surprised that Shekau, that Boko Haram leader, usually wear this bomb jacket or something, that in case of anything will just blow himself and just die? So we should be thinking far.
But by the way, what about the revelation from the United States that they have been funding, USAID?
Well, it is not.
A lot of people don't insinuate them beforehand. Let me ask you whether it is surprised.
No, it is not impossible. But then I have a bit of problem with. I would have loved if Nigeria had come out with an investigation and be bold enough to say, by our investigation, we see that, okay, US, through US aid, is funding Boko Haram. I would have been very happy. But it took US government
to review what happened in our own country.
To review what
does that make our government officials complicit, especially the APC administration? I'm sorry to say, because if you look at the history of Boko Haram as it started under Obasanjo's era, small, then it can't become really full blown under Jonathan era. And some people talk say he actually did like say a movement we start on or something we start to help oust the PDP administration or come out the PDP administration. Because if you look at the Obama support and all of those things help push PDP come on for power, which is Goodluck Jonathan. So what do you think about him? You think people where they government now somehow they complicit, they know all along and they're not saying anything. You know the reason I said this, sorry again, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa had recently in an interview with sometime in an interview with Al Jazeera mentioned that he believes that international forces are responsible for waiting make there is a prolonged terrorism battle in Nigeria. So now wait to make me to ask you.
Well, I would want to say that the people in the government are complicit as regards US funding Boko Haram. For instance, if you talk about farmers elders clashes, the inability of the security agencies to tackle the farmer elders clashes in Benue, I would give some level of complicity on the part of the government of Nigeria. And I mentioned the Buhari government, right? But in terms of funding of Boko Haram, I won't say people in government are complicit, because the first way to look at it is that, is it possible for the US to have any kind of interest in insecurity and destabilization of Nigeria? The answer to my mind would be more of maybe than maybe not. In the sense that, and I will encourage our viewers to Google this, it's very easy. Resource cost theory, they also call it resource cost thesis, which is a political economic theory that asserts that wherever there is natural resources, wherever the people possess resources that are natural, that can make such nations prosper, those nations are usually in serious crisis and conflict. Look at
DR Congo is an
Yes,
example.
just look. No, you see, just look at it. Just think about it in your mind.
Sierra Leone.
Any country. Why is it that it is beyond coincidence that these countries are facing all these problems? We call that the resource cost, which means that resources that is to bring them prosperity is now bringing them a cost. Now, what am I trying to drive at? Linking it with Boko Haram, in the sense that all these Western countries, the more your country is in crisis, the more your country is destabilized, the more they make profit from the natural resources in your country. And if you now expand it to the continents across the world, in Asia, we have all these, what they call NICs, newly industrialized countries. These countries have, to use street balance, open eye. The only continent that is vulnerable, the only continent that you can prey on across the world, all the continents in the world, is Africa. And fortunately or otherwise, Africa is the continent that has humongous mineral and natural resources. So these countries, they will not let Africa to go. They will not let Africa to succeed. So I cannot say that the US cannot have a hand in all these Boko Haram of a thing. But then, what I would say is it is not 100%. Because are there truly Islamist fundamentalists? Yes. Are there truly people that want Islamic State? Yes. Now, it is not like an alignment of interest. You want an Islamic State that I know that it will be very difficult for you to have, but then your action can bring some destabilization, and that destabilization will make me have easy access to the resources of some of these countries, then continue to destabilize. In the sense that when there's insecurity, some of these countries, they will want to buy arms and ammunition. The money that they are supposed to use to feed, they'll come and use it to come and buy our Tucano aircraft, our, bomb and bullets and all that. That alone is market for us. And if they don't have the money of some of these, we will tell them, okay, can you pay with oil? Can you pay with lithium? Can you pay with brass? All these things happen. So, and if you look at it, there's a problem. And the problem is the problem of leadership in Nigeria. You see, Nigeria, the gateway to the development of Africa is in the hands of Nigeria. Because Nigeria is Africa's most populous nation and the capital of the Black Race. You see, if Nigeria gets liberated, if Nigeria gets developed, all this Ghana, Togo, they will follow that path because they will come to us for the template. They will say, oh, big brother, like the normal big brother, they will call us big brother, that big brother, embrace us, don't leave us out in the cold. And they too will find their development easy. So because of the strategic position that Nigeria has, it is not unlikely, it is not unusual that some of these foreign elements will want to see how to continue to destabilize Nigeria, because they know that if Nigeria is not at peace, that is to their own benefit. So it is not about, but then where the problem lies is the Nigerian government, successive government, to be able to look into what they should look into. What we have most times over the years is people that go into government for self. They have house in US, they have house in UK, they still want to buy house in heaven. When Jesus said, I want to go and prepare a place for you in heaven, if it is possible for Nigeria, if it is possible for Nigerian politics, if they have access to Jesus, they will call him, hello, Jesus, how far? That house,
Oga, abeg,
that
keep
house,
5 bedroom to
that you
duplex
said,
for me.
that mansion of your father that you said you want to go and create for me. I want, I want you to be all room and suit. I don't want it. How much will it cost me? They will decide to go. So it's politics, it's governance, more for self than for all. And because it is more for self than for all, they are not seeing what they are supposed to see. Imagine my joy. Imagine your joy. If the way the Trump administration is the one that is, the way the Trump administration policies is affecting Nigerians. Imagine the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu coming out with hard facts saying that USAID is part of the people that is, funding or sponsoring or whatever for Boko Haram. Imagine my joy that, so we have a government too that has, hit them hard. But then it is the same US government because the Democrats are out, the Republicans are in. So the inter-party crisis between the Democrat and the Republican is now the one that is unearthing revelations to Nigerians. But Nigeria itself cannot, and this is not the first time. Let me give you an example. When I was doing a scientific research in the Niger Delta, there's something we call NOSDRA. I've forgotten the name of that agency. NOSDRA is in charge of oil spill, NOSDRA, NOSDRA. Do you know that NOSDRA does not have the capacity to detect oil spill, to detect the cause of oil spill, the quantity of oil that was spilled? NOSDRA, a government agency, will depend on Shell. It is Shell that spilled the oil. Shell, all this Texaco movie that spilled the oil, that will still give NOSDRA data that, okay, it's 2 gallons that we spilled, though. Ordinary oil spill. You don't have the capacity to detect and to act independently, or you still need to rely on the oil multinational corporation. So imagine that. Is it you now that want to detect that they are funding, Boko Haram
But
and others?
Dr.
It
Deji,
is
that
hard.
not the one way they talk, self now far talk now, because not say the NMDPR, they no get access, they no get the equipment to use test the quality of imported fuels we will get. But Dangote has it. Do you
Yes,
understand? So it's the same thing.
that's what
But
I'm saying. That why is there always inefficiency when it comes to the government? Why can't the Nigerian government be able to dictate that, okay, this funding, there's something wrong with it, and not just dictate, but be bold enough to act against it? You see, the matter for sweet, you don't understand. Like, you don't get what I'm saying. The matter for sweet. If now the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu say, oh, US, you are doing this, and this, stop. Like,
person where
it will
they
be
talk say
like,
we according to
you
them
know, you
say
feel,
we according to them say that their national
you,
assets. You think say go
you know,
on
you will
talk?
feel proud as a Nigerian that, now you are beginning to make some sense, but Abola, now you are making sense, you know. But
It's in a border bola.
if it is
All
the
right,
same
so Dr.
US
Deji,
that is now telling you, so that means that if they are truly funding Boko Haram, if truly they are, if Kamala Harris had won that election, that means that the funding would have continued, and you wouldn't have known. No, that's not good enough.
all right. So, Dr. Deji, thank you. So let's quickly just chiming on this Oyetola's conversation and link it to what Tambowal said about the APC. Then I let you run because people in the conversation. It's time for them to just join the conversation. So, that the state governor, Governor Adeleke, held a press conference today. One day, 17th, 2025, say the cousin of the president, Boyega Oyetola, will be the minister waiting in charge of marine and blue economy. By the way, I never see anything with blue economy don't do since. Say they plan to cause mayhem for inside the state. Now, I say, he talked this off a press conference. He now said that that Oyetola is spearheading moves to enforce a court order which reversed chairman elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC in the state. Now, Adeleke alleged that Oyetola is conspiring with several law enforcement agents, including the State Commissioner of Police, and the State Director of Department of State Services, DSS, to destabilize the state. If you're there
Loud
with
and
me,
clear,
I
loud
need to
and
be
clear,
sure since we both okay. Yeah,
loud
so
and clear.
I call so he contact he called the press conference to alert the national and global audiences about the deliberate plot to create chaos and anarchy in Osun State. In fact, he talk and say now the president's cousin now they won't do and they do this one because of the president's cousin. He say in fact before I continue this address, let me affirm that I know that Mr. President, I know him to be a true Democrat, a lover of rule, believer of sanctity and judicial process. So it expects the president to do the right thing. Now, just like you said earlier, that there's some people who are overzealous in the name of the president. Although Setambo don't come talk, say anybody will be say one move from APC to PDP, I be PDP to APC back. It be like something they wrong with the person because Bola Tinubu lack of performance supposed don't be enough the marketing for APC. But let's move away from that. Do you see of this threat if these allegations were true? And what thing will give and that morale we go make a one pull of this kind of threats?
Well, what will give him the morale is simply that he's one of the relations of the president. In this country, is a very powerful, you are more like a god with a small letter G in your own right if you are a nephew to the president. Even nephew is far away. The driver of the president, if you want to cause craze, you will cause craze. And people will do a lot of things in the name of the president because our institutions rely on the dictate of man more than the dictate of law or the institutionalization of the institution itself. The institutions themselves have not institutionalized some basic tenets in such a way that no matter who you are, no matter what you are, no matter what you believe in, some things cannot change. It cannot be manipulated in your favor.
But in a true democracy, though, this kind of thing, the ideal thing to happen. Just before you respond, make I let people know. So I've dropped the link to this conversation. If you want to join us live, you can join the conversation in the next 5-10 minutes here about Dr. Deji would have left. Dr. Deji would have left at that time. So you can join live. The link is there, or you call us on WhatsApp on the number that I already posted on. The number is there for you to call. I think the number is 70294077. And don't forget to subscribe. In case this is the first time of joining us live and you've not subscribed to this platform, well, yeah, click on the subscription sharp because with the young better things are here. Dr. Did you go ahead, please?
So if the nephew of the president, who happens to be a former governor, if he's interested in contesting for governor, and it is an open secret anyway, not if he.
I know they hear you so well. Be like say
no, I can hear you.
Increase your tempo.
Okay, am I audible?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
yes, you're fine now.
That Lanre Ogunlowo is still interested in contesting for the governor for Osun State. He and Adeleke has this running battle. He defeated Adeleke the first round. Adeleke, during your interview with him, by the way, he said that Oyetola stole the election from him. And I encourage people to look out for that interview with Governor Adeleke on your YouTube channel. You'll find it there. And they can watch it where Adeleke made those interesting revelations. And when he made those revelations, he is making it because he knows that there's likely possibility for Oyetola to want to come back. And Oyetola himself knows that it is either now or never because every odds seems to want to be working in his favor, in the sense that his nephew is the president, and his nephew being the president alone is enough backup for him. And who do you expect that the commissioner of police will obey? Let us be realistic with ourselves. The way the flawed system that we operate in Nigeria, if Oyetola, who happens to be the nephew of the president, if he talks to you as a commissioner of police and you are believing you want to be proven stubborn, when they push you from Osun State, that there's still some make and money, and they go and dump you in maybe Yobe State or Zapara, and they transfer you there, you will calm down. So definitely, the security agencies, in fairness to them, not by their own making, we want to tilt towards Oyetola because he is the nephew of their commander-in-chief. Adeleke cannot save them. Adeleke cannot influence any appointment or something. That has been the normal practice. So if Adeleke is speaking, unfortunately, and that is how it is in our flawed democracy, if Adeleke speaks, despite the fact that he is the chief security officer of the state, if Adeleke speaks and Oyetola that is not holding any elective position in that, if he speaks, the security agencies will naturally want to obey Oyetola because not obeying it comes with serious consequences. So from the surface of it, could Adeleke be right? Does he have some point? Of course, yes. By the flawedness of the kind of democracy that we practice. But should that be the case? Of course, no. And that's why there have been clamor for state police that governors too should have some form of force that is under their control. If there's something like Osun State Police now, for instance, if there's like let's say OSP, right, Osun State Police. If there is an Osun State Police and they are they are carrying arms, Adeleke too will be giving orders that okay, Osun State Police, go and do like this, go and do like this. So the force will match. There will be like a match of force. But then the state police has not seen the light of the day, and it will most likely not see the light of the day. But then 2026, when the Osun State election will be coming up, will be very interesting because Adeleke is on ground in Osun State to the best of his ability, and there's an Oyetola coming. And what will make it interesting is that people have tasted what Oyetola can do, and they have had a feel of Adeleke, and
What Adeleke can do, yes.
With all his dancing and all that, and Adeleke comes from a family that they know how to spend, and there's already wealth in the family, and they have already been doing philanthropic works back and forth. So if you look at it, by the stretch of it, Adeleke is a strong candidate, and he knows what it takes to be challenged by another strong candidate. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not the president, it is a weakness for Oyetola. But because he's the nephew of the president, that alone is enough support. And if what goes on in Edo State is anything to go by, where there are revelations that politicians now know how to tamper results from the back end. You guys are shouting Saba, this, that, this. By the revelation of this, is it Athena or something by Osita Chidoka, Ascent Center, something like that. I can't remember the name. And the organization reviewed how results were being manipulated from the back end. And at the end of the day, you say, go to court, right? That's the normal thing. So we'll see that in 2026, it will be a very tough election between, and that's why you see that Oyetola wants to return, and that's why he's fighting for some of the structures of the local government. Ordinarily, the PDP, any party that is in government is usually the most alive in all the states. So the PDP being the government in power in Osun State will be the government that is most alive. But in this case, as the situation is now, there is an APC that is headed by a national chairman that all what Ganduje thinks, if he's sleeping, he's thinking about how to grab power. If he's eating, he's thinking about how to grab power. The goal of Ganduje, if you look at it, APC under Ganduje has not performed in terms of forging a policy direction for government, which should be what political parties should be about after winning election. But APC under Ganduje, with profound respect to him, has always been about grabbing power. Oh, we have grabbed this state now. That your state, we are coming to grab it. Thank God that Ganduje is talking about grabbing state. He's not even talking about putting fire. Now that one was passed. Shout out to Wike, Mr. Fire. Ganduje is still kind.
Are you insulting my ex-governor?
No, he wants to. So that's what
he's the best performing minister.
You see your state, the best performing minister. Well, the thing is, if you say Wike is the best performing minister, it's a relative term. I can agree with you, and I can also disagree with you. Because
have you considered the cost of those projects that he's performing on? Have you considered the cost of those projects and what is the actual cost? Make we no go there. Make we no go there because you know how much they use build flyover for us or River State.
No, in Nigeria, in Nigeria, the house that you will build for 10 million. If government want to build it, they will say they want to build it for 250 million. And a research was conducted some time ago that why is government project usually more expensive than private project? Of course, the answer is most likely greed, corruption. There are a plethora of research on that. But this Osun State issue is going to be very interesting. But where it will get worse is if people wants to tilt towards the side of Adeleke, and the Adeleke family now hold money. You understand? You know what they call old money. And they will be ready to match, although, their money feel no rich like that too, because there's nothing like government money. But they will still stand that, we will still meet you money for money, naira for naira, dollar for dollar. So in terms of money, the APC is grounded by virtue of being in power at the federal level, having governors in all the states. The PDP as well is also grounded. And if you look at Adeleke, Adeleke has played his politics very carefully in such a way that at the party at the national level, you don't find him in any controversy. The way you find people like Wike and all that. No, he has maintained that, a bit of middle ground, a bit of diplomacy at that federal level. So it will be very, very interesting. But if the support is towards Adeleke, then they now want to say, oh, Oyetola must come back by force. They can achieve it, but then it will lead to serious problem and it will lead to serious crisis. Where the problem is the people themselves. In the sense that Nigerian politics is about money base. If Adeleke is giving 50,000 naira, if Oyetola can come with 100,000 naira, some of our people will just follow, will just go and just follow Oyetola. I was speaking to my mechanic some months ago, and he was lamenting about the Tinubu government. When I met him, bros, long time, Meko now. But now saying, things have changed in this country now. Oh, the price of things, the price of that. I was just looking. Then a point just came to my mind to ask him, okay, with all these things that you are saying, that you are condemning Tinubu, that if in 2027 they come now, just imagine that today now, they just bring like 10 kg rice, they come put like 10k or 20k on top, some granite oil. Will you accept it? I was surprised. The guy said yes. Why you no go accept her? You go accept her now. I said that's where the problem is. So our people, there's
Wow. But how about accepting and still doing the right thing? How about accepting and still voting your conscience? Oh dear. Hello, Dr. DJ, are you there? I think I've had issue with the network. Hello, Dr. DJ, are you there? Okay. I think I've had issues with the network. Dr. DJ, I don't know if you can hear me. Dr. DJ, are you there? Can you hear me? Hello, Dr. DJ. All right. Looks like the network has cut off. Dr. DJ, are you there? Oh dear. Okay, let me try and connect with him in person to know if he's still there. Okay. I think he's buzzed off. All right. So I just dropped the link to the conversation. You can join the conversation if you're willing to join the conversation. Let's take your thoughts and reactions on most of the issues that we've raised tonight. The phone number to also call us live is there. So you can decide to call us live to join the conversation. Let's know. Join the link that I posted. That's the last post. That link will bring you directly to this platform. That means you want to have a video conversation and you want to chime in on this conversation via video. So that's fine. So if you want to join video, just click on the link I sent. But if you don't want to join video, you can just call on WhatsApp on 0817 029 0847 029 I wish Dr. Deji had responded to, had time to my question on what Tambo was said when he say anybody will be say join APC for this administration with the kind hardship waiting no don't cause for people. Say so like say that person gets something to really do for your head because how you go see all this kind of hardship for any politician with good conscience, we get conscience, not supposed to join APC because how you go see all these kinds of things that waiting anybody do, make you constantly join APC. So if you're joining APC right now, that means there must really, really be something wrong with you because it be like say conscience don't leave you disappear. Because if you get conscience, you're not supposed to join APC. All right. Thank you so much for everyone who's joined us live. I don't know. I think the network is really very bad. I don't think I'm accessible anymore. But I appreciate you guys. In case you have any thoughts, reactions, you can call in either live via the link to join the conversation or you call the WhatsApp line. In the meantime, let me run you through on the things I have discussed so far. I did tell you that the police in Ogun State just captured about 20 young men from northern Nigeria with different charms, knives, and other items where they hold. And they enter Ogun State through Oyo State without clear address. They don't have anywhere they were going to before. Dr. Deji, apologies, I lost you. I lost you earlier. I don't know
Yeah,
if you can hear me.
that's
So they didn't have any
louder.
address. They caught them with charms and all those. Okay, and I also did tell you guys about Benue State, where we hear that over 2,000 villages have been sacked because of the activities of Fulani headsmen, and about 1,000 people killed within, the last couple of months. And I also did tell you that Nnamdi Kanu is saying that he would rather die in custody than be tried unjustly. I did say that, and we also did jumping on Sheikh Husani, decamping back or returning back to APC after leaving APC because of his, saga with El Rafai. He left for PDP. Now he's back again to APC. And we also did talk about what again? We talked about Tamboa saying that anybody with conscience, any politician with conscience is not supposed to decamp from PDP or any other party to APC right now because of the bad administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and a couple of other things that we mentioned. So, Dr. Deji, I was about to ask for your input or your take on what Tamboa said. Do you believe that any politician with conscience cannot leave any other political party right now to join the APC because of
No,
President Tinubu's
no,
performance?
there's nothing like conscience in Nigerian politics. It's because maybe they haven't given Tambuwa an offer that he can't resist, or PDP is still feeling the coldness in PDP. If it's catch and it will go join APC. That's how that's how Nigerian politicians are. I said it at the beginning of this conversation that it's all about what you can take from the system. Is most times about what you can gain. And in that kind of instance, if your party lose the election and you're able to wait to manage for 4 years and your party still lose the election again, because you are not there for the ideology or the interest of that party, you are there to profit. Definitely you want to go to the ruling party. And that's why you can't blame the likes of Daniel Bwala that, barely waited for long despite abusing Tinubu and now is in the APC because with profound respect to him, when he joined politics, we must have had maybe like his own target. Sometimes it's not just all about money. It might be about like that social respect that, oh, I am a politician, I am in so calm, politics makes things happen in Nigeria. So for me, Tambuwa's statement, what does Tambuwa expect? Tambuwa should not try and be speaking righteous. It is the norm in Nigeria that people will cross carpet and more people will still go because it is APC that is in control of the national cake. And people are not interested about whether there's hardship, there is suffering and all that. Even the people in APC, they know there's hardship. You think they don't know? Let me tell you the truth. These politicians, they know. Sometimes when they want to take some policies, they themselves are always afraid. Sometimes, they'll be looking at the body language of the people. But Nigerians are so disoriented, Nigerians are so dozer. And when they want to play the card and they see that, maybe like say the matter won't cast to, they can bring in, they can bring in religion, they can bring in ethnicity, just like in Lagos State, when the matter won't cast for 2027, they truly say, Igbo must go, this, that, oh, this one, is an Igbo boy. That's why the fact that the guy, those survivor, is not an Igbo guy. Maybe, and, unfortunately for him, that was survivor, some people that don't know anything will think it's an Igbo name. They won't know that it is the name that he got, his forefathers got during the slave trade era. So for me, politicians are meant to cross carpet because they don't have the ideology. What they're after is the money, what they can profit from the system, and any system that is available to give them that which they are seeking, they will just go there. It's all about the power, it's all about the access, it's all about the fame, it's all about the contract for most of them. And that is what is going on. So tomorrow, the way some of them, the way they are abusing, give me one presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, right? The way some of them are abusing him and this and that. If Atiku by chance or luck win election in Nigeria, instantly you see them, going to the PDP. The PDP will be very full. And that's why what will happen in PDP and you start fighting. Worse things than that will happen in APC and they won't fight. Because why? The cake is enough. If you fight, you'll be like, I feel lose out completely. But make I no fight, make I maintain to use street parlor, make I maintain my steez. That one day, if you reach my turn, make I just do small stubbornhead and all that. And that's why you see that upon all the things happening in APC, that net meeting is not holding, NWC meeting is not holding, people are staying calm because the power at the federal level is so huge. There's a lot of appointments, so many appointments, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, after God in this Nigeria, is the chief, the chief appointer. He has a lot of appointment that if he looks in his bag of appointment, there's always something to say to you. What have you been making? Why have you take this? You just keep quiet. So it's about what to gain from the system. And that's why I don't blame this politician, because the foundation of it is like, you meet a man. What you're after is money. You'll be thinking of how to get that money. You meet a man, you meet a woman. What you are after is a natural resources. You'll be after how to get to that natural resource. Even if the woman tell you your father is stupid, you won't feel the pain, because why? You have a target. That's how we see for Nigerian politicians. So even if APC perform worse, you see people, they will go to that APC because it is APC that can meet their goal, which is to profit from the system. And Tambuwa should not come and act as the same, because later, maybe in 2027 or 2031, you can also find him in APC. Tambuwa was in the other party at some point before he moved to the PDP. And the difference between these people is 6.5 dozen.
I be want to remind you, say, may you not forget, say Tambuwa. I be want to tell you, may you not forget, say Tambuwa are one of those people will leave PDP in 2015.
I want to say this is very important. This Tambuwa, when he was in PDP, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu want to use his political machinery to make him the speaker as the House of Representatives against the interests of the PDP at that time. Why did Tambuwa, this same Tambuwa that later became governor of Sokoto State, why did he not say that, no, my party has spoken? Why did he align with the Tinubu boys and the Tinubu political machinery to emerge as speaker? So if you look at it, it is when they're on the other side that they always make sense, small, you understand? Look at Wike, your brother, your brother Wike, he will say, oh, if you go to me, I will leave PDP, malaria, malaria, and you go to APC cancer. How can I leave malaria and go to cancer? At the end of the day, is it not with the cancer now? So it's all about the interest, and some of these people are so addicted to power that any rational thinking doesn't come into place. So I'm not surprised when they say, oh, Shehu Sani, the camp, Shehu Sani, when Wike, his body and his soul now is with the APC. Just in fact, even his body is not in PDP. It is his shadow, it is his shadow that is only in the PDP. So it's all about what to gain from, and that is one problem. Nigerian politics will not make sense to the kingdom come if it is not about ideology. If the premium we place on politics is still super high, if it is still super high, if people can learn that if you have the opportunity to become an House of Representative member, oh boy, just one deal alone, if you see about $150 million with like 2, 3, 4 people, tell me, if it is APC that can give you that ticket, won't you go there? You go there. So it is about power. Nedi Woko, our rich brother that do not let all our young girls to waste. Nedi Woko is a great guy. He's a good guy. It's true. Husband scars, and he's using his money as Regina Daniel B now. You see, as her skin they shine. Nedi Woko is a great guy. He did not let all our girls to waste. And I won't be surprised tomorrow if Nedi Woko come for Precious. If I call you Precious Alpha, he say, Deji, I beg, I go call you by day with Ned. Ned Woko don't come carry you again. See as remember you say
no, me I be Yagbalagba. I not be 16 years old. Now from 16 years old.
It's true. No, you are not a Yagbalagba. It's just that you seem not to want to fall in the realm of the species that Ned Woko likes. But beware if you have all these young girls. But shout out to Ned Woko. I'm not casting aspersion on him. Like, he's doing what God sent him and what he knows how to do. And so far as he did not rape. In fact, it's better for Ned Woko to marry a Regina Daniel than to go for one 10-year-old girl and go and intimidate the. A lot of things happening in Nigeria. But shout out to him. He's doing his best for his people. But the truth is that they will go to APC and more people will still go to the same APC. Because why? APC now holds the national key. If tomorrow, if Peter Obi wins election, all of them will come to Labour Party. Godswill Akpabio was a PDP product. When PDP lost the election, he found his way to the APC. He became the minority leader or majority leader. Today is the Senate president. So it's about what you can gain, what you can profit, not what you mainly can contribute to the system. And that's why Nigeria is the way it is today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. DJ. Thank you so much for obliging me today. Sincere apologies for holding you down for almost 2 hours. This wasn't planned, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I have to let you go so that you can run while I take my messages and reactions from people. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate you, Dr. DJ.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
God bless you. Thank you. All right. So straight on to taking your comments and thoughts and reactions on the conversations we've had tonight. I have some messages. Let's see where we can begin with this. Where do I start from? Really? Okay. John Okezie says, and acknowledge your good work you are doing. John Okezie from Ejibu Center. Appreciate you, John Okezie. Thank you so much. And Man Wafo says, Mani Wafo, thanks for the job, be the good work, enjoying work here in Asia. World, one love in Asia world. Oh, thank you. One love to you too. Also, Biafra says, Nigeria, no, Nigeria is not going to. Biafra is the future, whether you like it or not. That must happen. Mhm. Oladipupa Lukman says, greetings from Dakar, Senegal. Not until we go back to regional government and allow region to progress or each region to progress at their own pace, we won't make any meaningful progress. Nothing will change till eternity. That's what you said. And Ademola Owodini says that Nigeria is a warlord country, a war-torn country, you mean? At present, all sectors in Nigeria are corrupt. That's what you said. Ademola then says, time will tell. And then Kanju Banko says, Afokini, Afofungbemo. I don't understand. Which magnanimity and one way? Eh? Eh? A drug baron that rigged his way through. He said, throwing Yorubas under the bus. Oh, wow. Kelechi Ekweme says, hi, Precious, joining you and listening from the UK. I appreciate you. NS Opara says, Tinubu can do something. The situation is not beyond him. He should post GOCs and police commissioners to their states of origin. That's what he needs to do. And Chukaekwe says, our government sometimes acts like we know they would say something today and act another way tomorrow. And then Basi Inyang says Buhari said attack on Boko Haram is attack on the north. Yes, that was in the past. It'd be like he can't repent. I think he repented, and took back those words. Well, guys, I thank you so much and I appreciate all of you for joining us on this live. Thank you so much for being part of this. I would continue to do this. The idea is to continue to push for a better Nigeria until we achieve that Nigeria of our dream and that we desire. My name is Precious Enyi. Oh yeah, if you've not subscribed, click on the subscription button and turn on the notification so that you can be alerted or you can get an alert when we on notification when we want to go live or whenever we post anything from here. I love you guys so dearly and I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for joining us and have yourself an amazing weekend. Bye.